Julian, DraftKings contributors Julian, Edlow, and Nick Friar. Fellas, we're talking draft position over under. We're starting with NC State, Ikem Ekwonu, 4.5. Julian, where do you think this offensive tackle is going?
Yeah, it feels like he should go top 4, and the juice heavily suggests that. And I'm scrolling through DK Sportsbook right now. What is he at? He's up to minus 200 to be a top 4 pick, essentially. So it's probably not bettable at this stage. If you bet him, you probably want to use him in like one of those exactive offers for the top 3-4 picks and slide him into the 3 or 4 spot. I don't even know if top 4 is up anymore. It might come back up. Houston at 3 makes a lot of sense. And to me, I know a lot of people don't see it, but to me, the Jets at 4 makes a lot of sense with what's going on with Mekhi Becton. And 2 picks in the top 10, make it all about Zach Wilson. Take an O-lineman, take a wide receiver. That's what I think the Jets do. So it's under or pass for me here. Although if Evan Neal is higher on someone's board or whatever, you can get good plus money on him going up, and you know the Giants, either at 5 or 7, will use one of those picks, even Carolina, too. So, strong lean to the under. I don't know if it's bettable anymore.
Yeah, like Julian said, it's minus 200 for under 4.5 right now, Nick.
Yeah, I'm with Julian and lockstep on this one. I mean, you look at what the Jets need and what the Texans need, and then what it looks like at the offensive line position outside of that. Like, he's one of the best 2, if not the best offensive tackle in this. And he's versatile. I think that there's no question that you have to go the under here if you're going to take this one. Also, a guy who protects the run well too. So, I don't see him going past the Jets in this one.
All right, Nick, Cincinnati corner, Ahmad Gardner, 5.5, over or under?
Yeah, with these corners that we're talking about today, it's interesting. I go with the over on this one. I do think that, talent-wise, he deserves to go a little bit higher. But we're talking about needs and the talent that's at the top of this draft. I think we know where the Jaguars and the Lions are going to lean with this one. But then when we're talking about, the Texans, the Giants, the Jets, they all have needs outside of corner. Don't get me wrong. I do think that the Giants could end up taking him. But I still think that right now, that there's another corner that the Giants could go with as well. And the other 4 teams, I just don't think he's going to be on their radar in these first 4 picks.
All right, which way are you leaning, Jules?
Yeah, it's these draft props. You want to get him early. Now we're at draft day, and it's like, he was there at 7.5 for a while, and then you get both of those Giants picks incorporated. Now you need the Giants to use their first pick on him and wait to go with an offensive lineman, which we think, one of those 2 picks needs to be used for. So Houston is going to be in the mix at 3. It sounds like they prefer Stingley, but what if that's just kind of a smoke to avoid somebody from trading up for a guy that people think could be the best player here? What if the Jets are in play at 4? I lean to the under. I think one way or another he is going to be a top 5 pick, but again, it's not playable. The under 7.5 is what you wanted to get about a week ago.
All right, Jules, we got Derek Stingley, 7.5. The under is minus 145 right now.
This one I will still go under, and again, I've got him under 12.5. I've played him under 10.5, and now here we are at 7.5. I'll still lay minus 145 because again, he's the favorite to be the number 3 overall pick to Houston. So you have that one going for you, a team that could use a corner. Let's say they go Sauce Gardner at 3. The Jets could be in play at 4. And then both Giants picks at 5 and 7 are in play, and you cover your bases with both of those. And again, if Sauce Gardner goes 3, 4, or 5, and the corner market heats up, I know Carolina would love to trade back. So maybe somebody trades up to beat the Giants at 7 and take them at 6. I think there's a lot of ways you can win this one still.
Nick, no-brainer to take the under here?
Yeah, where I think Gardner might be an over, I think Stingley's going to be an under here, and I think Julian highlighted it pretty well. But when I look at the Giants, too, I do think they'll take him with that second pick. I like this a lot more at 9.5, which is where we're looking at it the other day, because then Seattle could be in the mix in this one as well. But I think Julian raises a very good point. When you look at the Panthers, too, and if they're going to be taking a QB, they can afford to slide a little bit. So maybe trade down a little bit, get some more draft capital. But I think the Giants, if it gets to them with their second pick in the top 7, that I don't think they're going to pass up on him at all. I mean, he's been linked to him already.
Nick, Georgia defensive lineman Jordan Davis looked at as one of the more unique prospects in this draft. Has some freakish ability in the trenches. They're 13.5. Would you go over or under?
Yeah, this one's an easy over for me on this one. We were looking at him at 15.5 as of yesterday. I was thinking this one might be a little bit close because I was thinking it's going to be the Ravens or it's going to be the Eagles that might end up taking him just based on need. And I understand it's not all solely based on need the way these teams pick. But looking at this high in the draft, I think there's too much talent that fits needs for these other teams where I don't think that he's gonna go this high as much as there's a big drop-off when you look at the 3 interior defensive linemen.
Jules, you going over as well?
At 13.5, I'm going over. At 14.5, where it was, I'm going under. The numbers matter here, and I've played him under 14.5 and played it back with a little bit of over on the 13.5. Because ultimately, I think Baltimore is the spot. He's heavily linked to Baltimore, who picks at number 14. He could be a surprise pick in that 8 to 13 range. It wouldn't shock me. But at 13.5, I think you have to go over. You win on Baltimore, and then his range all along, like Nick said, has been kind of that, 15 to early 20s. He'd be a steal in the 20s. But, yeah, it's probably going to be this teen area. So here you got to go over, but I am personally on under 14.5. That's how this works.
Wow.
All right, let's talk about a fellow Eagle, Boston College's Zion Johnson.
So excited about this.
I mean, because it's really rare that we have BC players that are being talked about this much on draft day. Jules, you wrote an article last night saying that you liked the under for 24.5 for his draft position for Zion Johnson. The under's minus 160 right now. It was minus 125 when you wrote the article yesterday, but you like this.
Wow, Jules.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm making my best bet on Zion Johnson, it's that fellow Eagle, Jesse Cofield, couldn't pick him out of a lineup of 10 guys walking down the street. They all have to be big guys. They all have to be offensive lineman-sized guys.
Yes.
So not like me.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Like college Emerson, maybe.
Hey, and Golick was on earlier, and he said he likes this guy a lot.
That is true.
Yes. Yeah. No, so I like Zion Johnson a lot. So we're talking about all these outside O-linemen, the tackles, Icky, Neal. This is probably the best interior O-lineman in this class. And I think that his range starts in the teens, especially if we see the tackles fly off the board early in some of these teams that want protection for their young quarterbacks come into play. I know Reed had him to the Chargers to protect Justin Herbert in our group mock yesterday. That would make sense, and that's in the teens. But then I think as we fall, Patriots, local guy, they make sense at 21. And then I love where we're getting the hook here because the Cowboys are taking an O-lineman because they've lost so much there, and they pick at number 24. So I really think 24 is going to be the floor for Zion Johnson.
Nick, what do you think? Few teams that could really use the help inside protecting those young QBs.
Sure, and of course we want to see this BC guy go as high as humanly possible. We all just absolutely love Boston College. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the under here as well. I think this is one of the easier ones of the ones that we're going over today because when you look at the interior linemen, the only guy who you could say is ahead of him is Tyler Lindenbaum. But even then, we could easily see him going a little bit later than Zion Johnson in this one. Of course, in our mock draft the other day, he went higher or later, excuse me. But yeah, between the teams that are looking to bolster and protect their quarterbacks, or some of these teams that maybe need a little bit help improving their ground game too, or protecting some of their top running backs, I think that there's just a lot of teams that could use Zion Johnson's talents, especially when we're going to see a lot of offensive tackles flying off the board early.
Nick, you can also bet on players just to make it into the top 32 here. So basically to go in the first round. Is there someone at plus money you like to get selected tonight? Someone with some value maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple guys for plus money, but nothing crazy, really. I think George Pickens, he's at even money right now. Coming out of Georgia, of course, I liked him going to the Titans when we were doing our mock draft the other day. But just in general, this guy's is a first-round talent, and I understand it's post-ACL injury, but we see that solid dash time a year after the ACL injury, and we know how short of hands he had throughout his college career. I just think this is a guy who can easily slip into the first round because he is a first-round talent. I know this is a deep wide receiver class, which is also why if you don't like George Pickens, then I think Sky Moore is the way to go at plus 140, the shifty 21-year-old wide receiver out of Western Michigan.
All right, Jules, what's the play tonight here?
Is Pickens really just even money to be in the first round?
Yep, that's what I saw it as.
Wow. Where's his draft prop? His draft prop is 36.5. So I'm going to take Nick's bet if you like him and just make it better because that's what I do for our fellow analysts. They're my friends.
What a guy.
Take more plus money on Pickens under 36.5. Give yourself a few more outs if you think he's going to go early. I happen to disagree with Nick and think he's going to go over 36.5.
Good.
Besides the torn ACL, he also has some personal issues that GMs don't like. But for a first round guy, Jeff has been talking up the corners all show today, all show yesterday. Kyler Gordon is even money to go in the first round. I put him on my plays on Twitter at plus 125. It's moved a little bit. I think one of those teams in the late 20s is probably going to need a corner, and all the top four are going to be off the board, and they'll go with Gordon.